Good morning. Is anybody awake? Good morning, thank you. I appreciate that welcome. I thank you, co-chairs Kukesh and Anderson. Thank you, President Kitka, our honored elders. Thank you, especially our honored military veterans and families. My wife, Sandy, joins us. Will you welcome her? Sandy, would you stand up here, please? Thanks. You know, last spring, more than 100 people gathered in Saxman. The wind and rain came at us sideways as young men, strong warriors, carried a totem from its carving site about 100 yards to its new home. We all grabbed ropes and pulled it, got it seated and straight, and that totem stands, like many others, for the values, cultures, and traditions of Alaska's First People. Reverence for our Creator, a Tlingit value. Traditions of listening, a St. Lawrence Island Yupik value. Helping others, a Chupik value. Sharing, a Bristol Bay Yupik value. Kindness, an Aleut value. Caring for our elders, an Athabascan value. Speaking respectfully, that's a value that crosses cultures. Fellow Alaskans, whether we inhabit the rainforest of Southeast or the tundra of the far north, we together, you, I, all Alaskans, are more alike than different. For we are all made in the Creator's image. We all need food and shelter, clothing, safety, companionship. We were born to love and to be loved. We were born to respect and to be respected, to bring meaning and to matter to someone beyond ourselves. Traditional values and culture at their best reflect all that is right in us as people. And today and every day, we affirm that the ancient traditions still matter. Your governor and our administration have walked beside you to assure that these traditions and your identity remain strong. For example, this year we created the Alaska Native Language Preservation and Advisory Council. As with language, together we will keep alive the other traditions and values, for these support strong families and peaceful communities. And today I'm pleased to be joined by my cabinet, including our Lieutenant Governor, Mead Treadwell. Would you all please stand up if you serve on our cabinet? Would you give them a hand, please? Now they know that to work in government means to work for you, the people. You also know John Moeller, my top rural advisor. He's a member of my cabinet. He's from Alaska. John, I don't know if you stood up before. Would you stand up, please, and receive a warm welcome? John Moeller. Traditional family values include safety. And in 2009, I made a promise to you that I would work to improve your safety by funding more village public safety officers. And I kept that promise. 5 years ago, we had fewer than 50 VPSOs, and today VPSOs number more than 100 strong. And with these new positions, we've added training, trooper support, housing. We're filling positions as quickly as we have qualified people. So let's take a minute on the big screen, take a minute to listen to Alaskans who see the VPSO's positive impact in their communities.
I think the majority of the community really appreciates what VPSOs do. They understand the importance of having somebody that's their boots on the ground first responder to assist with anything that has to do with police, fire, EMS response, and search and rescue. They have seen from past experiences the importance of having a VPSO in the community.
The impact that the VPSO program has for the police department, manpower, mentoring my officers, provide training while they're working, they have way more training than my local VPOs do.
If you missed any questions, that's...
They assist with the serious calls, like gun calls, suicides, a lot of DUIs, assault 4, DVs, assaults.
If we didn't have a VPSO, these crimes would not be reported.
I carry this.
With the reporting that is complete with the VPSO, the perpetrator will be convicted and will get incarcerated, and the women will be brought to a safe place, or the perpetrator will be removed from the community and the women will be safe in their homes.
Yes, they do other things like coming up to the school, help with the activities at the school. We have one VPSO that's a school resource officer, and that's a very big impact for the department because I don't come up to the school as much as I used to.
Yeah, there was one kid that used to bring knives in school until a VPSO came in and stopped the whole thing.
I think it's my personal opinion that it is a safer, much safer place. The kids feel safer, especially the younger kids that are bullied, the kids that want to be able to talk to an officer or a teacher, somebody that might be able to help them with their situation either at home or with other kids or people within the community. This place here, I can't imagine it without VPSOs. I cannot imagine the lack of hope that I think would happen.
They make us feel safer. Well, I witnessed one last week. I do believe it was after one of the VPSOs just got back from hunting. There was an incident right in front of my house where I stay. I watched the VPSO help the VPOs here getting these two young men into the patrol car and taking away what looked like weapons.
How's it going? Good to meet you guys.
I really think the impact of a VPSO not being in the community, I think crime would go up. People know that there are more trained officers that are usually there are not there anymore. They would, the common criminal, the ones who are the 2% of people that are causing a lot of the problems, would see that they can get away with things, would start doing things. If the community doesn't support the VPSO, whether it's the entire community or the local councils, it sets itself up for failure.
We're very proud of our VPSOs and our communities that support them. Let's give them a round of applause. And I want to repeat what I have said, that every community that wants to be safer through the good work of a VPSO will have one. Next. Next, you know my heart and my hard work related to ending the epidemic of domestic violence and sexual assault in our state. From 2010 to 2013, with the Choose Respect initiative, we've come a long ways together. In 2010, Alaskans in 18 communities courageously stood up for victims of abuse and sexual assault. And this last spring, just 3 years after our first marches, Alaskans in 150 communities stood together to uphold the traditional value of respect. 150 communities. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of our communities for bravely supporting family members against assault and against sexual abuse. Communities like Dillingham, where in March they had the largest turnout so far at their Choose Respect rally, and thankfully more men of honor are stepping forward to protect our families from abuse and sexual assault. 40% of those turning out at Dillingham were men and boys. That's a milestone. Men and boys stepping forward as the protectors and respecters of our families they were meant to be. Let's give Dillingham a hand for that. That's awesome. A few weeks back, members of AFN's board, including your chairman and president, asked if I would consider the state entering into agreements so tribal courts could more fully address alcohol and drug abuse, domestic violence, and suicide. The simple answer is yes. Yes. We agreed around that table with the AFN board that tribes can often provide local, culturally relevant justice services. We agreed that the rights of both victims and alleged offenders would be respected in tribal courts. Through the Department of Law, we proposed to authorize tribal courts to offer tribal remedies in lieu of state criminal prosecution for certain alcohol and domestic violence offenses. In these cases, defendants could choose a tribal civil proceeding, which could result in tribal remedies. If the offender does not consent, the case would go to the Alaska State Trooper's Office for screening and potential prosecution. The second tool we propose will specifically help communities that have voted to ban possession of alcohol. We propose an MOU to create community panels composed of members from a traditional village council, the city council, or a borough assembly. Now, these panels could issue community service punishments for violations of the city's alcohol possession laws. So with tribal courts being given the green light by the state to handle more alcohol and domestic violence cases, and with a new tool for communities to address unlawful alcohol possession, we can better ensure safer communities through accountability and through culturally relevant sentencing. Beside respect and safety, traditional family values means ensuring Alaskans can feed their families. My administration is, and I am personally very concerned about the low Chinook runs across our river systems. Many communities, many of you here have carried that conservation burden for several years of low Chinook runs. And we don't yet know what's causing the recent declines, but we are taking action. I requested disaster declarations from the federal government. Commissioner Cora Campbell of our Fish and Game Department led the way to lower salmon bycatch limits, and will continue pushing to minimize bycatch, putting more fish into the rivers. We've also led in drafting and funding with legislative support a 5-year Chinook research initiative. With scientists and traditional knowledge adding important information, we will better understand how to get those kings back, how to foster greater king salmon returns. I'm also concerned about the walrus hunt on St. Lawrence Island. This summer, Alaskans harvested just 36% of the 10-year average. We know that walrus puts food on the table, and it provides that raw material for you carvers. We've taken action, and I've declared an economic disaster for Gamble and Savunga. Now, traditional family values include the dignity derived from being the family provider, both from subsistence activities as well as from earning a paycheck. And the private sector creates jobs in Alaska's economy. No one understands that better than Alaska Native corporations. Some of the greatest job opportunities for young Alaskans are in ANCSA corporations. That's because these corporations are economic powerhouses. In our state, ANCSA corporations hold 23 of the top 49 positions of Alaska businesses by gross revenue. That's something to be proud of and thankful for. ASRC was number 1 for the 19th straight year and accounts for 5,000 Alaska jobs. BBC, NANA, Chiniga, along with ASRC, fill out the top 4 Alaska businesses, top 4 out of 5 Alaska businesses. So because 23 ANCSA corporations lead in Alaska employment, business startups, they lead in local investment, because of this, our young people have opportunities for jobs and careers here. Some great job opportunities are also being created for all Alaskans because of legislation I championed and the legislature joined with me on called the More Alaska Production Act. This is oil tax reform that has already resulted in billions of new dollars coming into our state, committed to projects to our state. It's working. With the More Alaska Production Act, we have traded guaranteed decline for a shot at a great future. Recently, I received a letter from Mayor Charlotte Brower of the North Slope Borough. She said that because we passed oil tax reform, with new confidence, the borough is building a state-of-the-art water and sewer treatment plant and a landfill system at Prudhoe. $90 million worth of work because of the new confidence in the economy and the work that's coming. That's a big project, and the borough expects a lot more. Traditional family values are built around warm stoves, and affordable energy remains our high priority. I see a day soon when most of rural Alaska will heat with propane. Those fuel tanks along the rivers, those fuel oil barrels next to homes will be replaced by propane tanks. I proposed the Interior Energy Project, and the legislature funded it. The project should have liquefied natural gas arriving here in Fairbanks by the winter of 2015 to 16. And once Fairbanks becomes the anchor tenant for this project, that creates the very real possibility that we can then get propane to our river system and road system communities that are suffering from the high cost of fuel oil. For the first time, these communities, you can see cheaper energy in your future because Alaska's gas will get to Alaskans first. That's worth clapping for. Now, another tradition we treasure is education. Every child, every Alaskan child, every child deserves an access to a high-quality education. But we know that children in Alaska's rural communities can get shortchanged. Teachers in our rural schools do a good job, but we cannot expect one teacher in a small school to offer expert instruction at every grade level, in every subject, for every child. When she, for example, has a class of 1st to 12th graders. Today I announce a new statewide initiative to bring more of Alaska's best teachers to our children. They're going to supplement what teachers already accomplish inside a classroom, and we can do this through interactive digital learning. Using a small studio with cameras and computers in one location and technology in a rural classroom, teachers can coordinate to deliver higher quality and more diverse classes to our kids. A few school districts have already led the way. I've had the chance to see a few of them, and in Port Lions, a student took a clarinet lesson from a teacher in Kodiak using two-way video. Already students are learning in real time from teachers in other communities. It is time to go big into digital across the next 5 years so all of Alaska's children have access to a high-quality education. We're still working out the details, but here's kind of a broad composite of what this is going to include. It's going to include attracting top teachers to a cadre or academy of effective educators. It's going to mean making middle and high school math and science courses priorities, along with career and technical education and college credit courses. There's going to be a 5-year commitment from our administration to bring this project to scale. It means a distance delivery provider or providers and receiving sites spread across Alaska. I believe that when we provide our kids with access to the best teachers in a given subject area, they have a greater chance to succeed. They will be better prepared for life. Oh, I see what you're seeing up there. It looks like we've been joined in real time by the students of Manicodic. Welcome, students, to AFN. Let's give them a hand. I want to welcome the assistant principal, Dana Bartman, and welcome to the students. Can the Manicodic links hear us okay?
Loud and clear.
Yep, we hear you loud and clear, Governor. We'd like to take a moment to briefly have the students introduce themselves, if you don't mind.
Please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Reshan Tagatuk. I'm a vice president in the student council, and I'm a senior in Manicodic School. Ataya.
Hello, my name is David Williams. I'm a senior for Manicodic School and their public relations officer.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Cook. I am a freshman and the healthcare representative for Band.
Hello, my name is Nicole Wilco. I'm a senior, and I am the student council treasurer. Hello,
my name is Barton Rich. I'm the student council president. My opinion is
a senior here at Manakota Community, and I am the secretary of the Student Council.
Hello, my name is Michaela John. Hello, my name is, my epic name is Sandra. I'm a junior here at Manakota and I'm the president of the 11th grade. My name is Annie Masterman. I'm an 8th grade transfer student. I'm representing the 8th grade and my epic name is Kakwa.
Hello, my name is Keisha Paul. I'm in the 7th grade and I'm the class president.
My name is Pat Kevin. I'm in 10th grade and I'm the 10th grade president. My epic name is Justin.
Hi, my name is Lee Barton. I'm a 12th grade president and representative Rita Kachota.
Well, that's wonderful, class. You know, you've mentioned AFN is clapping for you. You know, many of you students mentioned that you're active in the student council. Can you tell the AFN delegates what you're working on? Well, thank you. We're showing the delegates here how interactive digital learning can take place between a teacher and a studio and between you young people. And I want to give you all a chance to ask me a question. Is there a question that you'd like to ask me before you go?
Governor Parnell, the United Class of 2014 would like to extend an invitation to you to attend our graduation ceremony on Friday, May 9th at 2 p.m. We would like to
I think I'm going to have to say yes, but I got to tell you, I have to tell you about my last trip to Manicodic. It was actually when I was lieutenant governor, and I rode in on a single-engine plane strapped between about 10 crates of bananas. So I'm hoping that I can join you in May, and we will get back with you. But let's give the students a hand and say thank you to these wonderful Manicodic students. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dana. Bye-bye. So education is a top value. It's a family value. It's a traditional value. My vision for our future is one where every Alaskan has opportunities to grow and prosper, where every Alaskan is safe and respected, where every Alaskan has an opportunity, like these young people from Manicodic, for a world-class education. Alaska's traditional family values are totems of strength for us and for future generations. The ancient traditions still matter, and they always will. Thank you very much, AFN delegates. Thank you. It's been my honor to present every year the Shirley Dementiff Award. And this award honors those whose life work continues the legacy of the great Athabascan community leader, Shirley Dementiff. This year's recipient is taken ill and is not here today, but her son Jack has agreed to stand in for her and will join me up here, as well as some members of the Dementiff family as well. So they'll be coming up. Born at Clark's Point, Sally Smith has worked tirelessly at home and across the world for the health of Native Alaskans and Native Americans. She's dedicated her life to establishing culturally and scientifically appropriate cancer clinical research for Alaska Native peoples. Sally is well known for her health work, and a research methodology carries her name. It's called the Smith Method. Community-based participatory research. Working on the topic of Alaska Natives and cancer, she has collaborated with institutions such as the Mayo Clinic and serves on the board of directors for the Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortium. Sally's list of leadership positions is pages long, but let me just mention a couple. She served on the executive board of the National Indian Health Board of Directors, and she was chair of that board for a decade. She chairs the Alaska Native Medical Center Joint Operating Board. She's published in the International Journal of Circumpolar Health. And from my brief description, you can see that Sally works tirelessly. So much so that for more than one president has asked her to serve in Washington, but Sally's heart has always remained here in Alaska. Stories of her taking care of Alaskans abound, yet she will not let me recount them. That's because I think she believes kindness and charity are found throughout the Alaska Native community. And she knows of many in this very room who stand to defend the weak and shelter the needy and feed the hungry. She knows many of you in this room who share her courage to speak against injustice, many who recognize hope and redemption in the soul of a person where others might only find hopelessness. She honors that and does not want her individual good deeds singled out. A mother and grandmother, Sally Smith will continue to work to ensure Alaska Native people are the healthiest people in the world. So will you rise and thank Sally Smith and welcome her son, Jack.
Thank you, Governor, for recognizing the gifts and the heart my mother has for others. These things you've mentioned are just a few of her accomplishments and make us all so proud of her. That a small-town girl from Dillingham can have such a positive impact on the lives of not only Alaska Natives but Native Americans, this is proof that we all can have a positive impact on the world around us. There's really no stopping us. It means more because Mom knew Shirley Dementive personally, so she knows the character and the hard work that this ward represents. My mother and Shirley were at the Copper Valley Catholic School in the early 60s together, and she told me a lot of stories of Shirley, but those stories, my mother can tell you those. You're right that Mom keeps many of her good deeds to herself, and I agree with you that some of them are probably known by people in this room. Perhaps there are those listening who have seen it themselves. In Bristol Bay or around the state, when Mom encounters a group of older women in their sunset years, there's an unspoken communication that occurs as they touch foreheads. An entire conversation from the heart takes place before any words are spoken. It's the language of love and knowing that Sally Smith is going to take care of things. I just want to close by saying Mom is getting stronger every day. Thank you for your prayers. And thank you, Governor. And Mom, if you're listening, we all love you.